Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about what is an electrical measurement, and next we have discussed about the characteristics of the instruments. And in today's class, we shall be discussing about the errors. So, what is an error first of all? So, what is an error? Error is nothing but which is not the true quantity. So that is the deviation of the measured quantity with the true quantity is called the error. That is the actual value, true value minus measured value is nothing but error. So it is the deviation of the measured quantity with the true quantity is called error. So now, so here we can say error is equal to measured value minus true value. So here there are different types of errors we will be coming through. So suppose in a circuit the true value is 5 amperes but the measured value is 5.1 amperes. So now what is the error now? Error is nothing but 5.1 minus 5, that is equal to 0.1 amperes is the error. So that is the error, and now let us discuss what are the different types of errors now. So now coming to the different types of errors, here there are three types of errors. In that first one, gross errors, systematic errors and random errors. So gross errors, systematic errors are the normal errors which will be having some reason to occur. But random errors will not be having any reason to occur. It might be some random error. So we don't know particular reason why they have occurred. They are called random errors. And under systematic errors, there are again three types of errors. One is instrumental errors, environmental errors, observational errors. So here now let us discuss all these three types of errors now in this today's class. So coming to the first one, gross errors. So what is this gross error? So gross errors occur because of the human mistakes. Human mistakes in the sense, so sometimes the person who is taking the observation might be thinking it might be first reading is 4 amperes and next he might think the next one will be definitely 4.1 or 4.2. So but the next error is 4.5, right? So it is because of his overconfidence the gross error occurs. So the gross error occurs because of the human mistakes, that is the mistakes made by the human. They are called gross errors. So the methods to minimize these errors are, first one, the reading should be taken very carefully. So without saying that it might be that reading, it might be that reading, you should not think like that. It should be taken very carefully. The reading should be taken very carefully. By taking readings with care, then you can eliminate gross errors. This is first remedy. And the second remedy is two or more readings should be taken of the measured quantity. Two or more readings means, so if 4 is the reading is 4.1 amperes, then he should take two readings, at least two readings. So first time whenever he conducts the experiment it will be 4, and the next time he conducts the experiment it might be 4.1. So if the two readings are nearby, then he can say that the reading is correct. So likewise he can eliminate the gross errors. So okay, so what are gross errors? Gross errors occurs because of the human mistakes. Because of the human mistake, these gross errors occur, and the remedies which are used to reduce these gross errors are, first one, the reading should be taken very carefully, and two or more readings should be taken of the measurement quantity. So this is about the gross errors. And what is the next one? Second one is systematic errors. So under that systematic errors, there are three types of errors. Under that first one, instrumental errors. So what is this instrumental errors? As the name itself indicates, instrument means it is because of the instrument. Suppose for to measure the current, you will be using the ammeter. So it might be the error caused because of the ammeter itself. So first one, inherent shortcomings of the instruments. Inherent shortcomings means the instruments might be came by default from manufacture. There will be some damage in the instrument. So because of the inherent shortcomings of the instrument, whenever we receive the instrument itself, there is a problem in that instrument. That is because of that we will be getting the error. Next one, misuse of the instruments. Misuse of the instruments means uh, we will be using the instruments meters for one experiment, one meter, and because of you will be taking that instrument to the other table. While carrying the instrument from one table to other table, you might damage that instrument or you might misuse that instrument. Because of that, there will be errors happening in that instrument. So that is the case. And next, third one, loading effects of the instrument. Loading effects means, suppose in a circuit you need to measure 5 amperes, but for that 5 amperes 10 amperes ammeter is sufficient. But if you use the same 10 amperes ammeter to a circuit which is more than the 10 amperes, which is more than the 10 amperes expectation, then because of that loading effect the instrument become damaged. So this is all under instrumental errors. So the three errors which comes under instrumental errors are inherent shortcomings of the instruments because of the damage of the instruments, and next misuse of the instrument which is caused by us when we are shifting the instruments. Next, loading effects of the instrument. This occurs when we are using the instrument which is more than its load, which is more than its capacity. Like instead of using 5 amperes circuit, you are using it to a 10 ampere circuit, then the instrument becomes damaged. So now for these errors, how can you can reduce these errors? So these errors can be minimized by selecting a suitable instrument for a particular measurement. So if you want to use that instrument for one current measurement purpose or one circuit, then use that ammeter for that circuit only, not for the others. Then you can minimize the errors. Next, applying correction factors after determining the amount of error. Applying correction factors. Correction factors means calibration. So calibration means you know that the meter whenever you are using, there is a point 0.1 error you have seen. Whenever the ammeter is not connected in the circuit, it is showing 0.1 amperes. Then so that 0.1 amperes is the correction factor. So whenever you are measuring in the circuit, you can reduce that 0.1 and you can use that reading. So applying that factor is called the correction factor. So applying correction factors can after determining the amount of error, you can reduce these instrumental errors. So next, the third one is environmental errors. As the name itself it is saying environmental errors. These errors are due to the external environment conditions. So external environment conditions means there will be effect of temperature, effect of pressure, effect of humidity, dust, vibration, etc. So because of these external conditions, there will be difference in the readings which they are showing. So likewise, we can take this as an example. You might be used in the machines lab, right? You have seen the machines lab. Usually the machines lab will be at the ground floor only, right? So they will be only in the ground floor because the machines will create lot of vibrations. The machines will create lot of vibration. If it is in the first floor, the vibrations will be more, and the earth, there will be different errors in the measurement. So if the machine is lab in the ground floor, then the vibrations will be absorbed into the earth, and there will be less number of vibrations, so that because of that vibrations there will be less number of errors. And in cases of effect of temperature, sometimes because of the temperature there will be expansion and compression takes place, and because of that also sometimes error takes place. So these are some environmental conditions. Because of these environmental conditions, there will be errors taking place. So these errors cause the environmental errors, and also because of the magnetic field. That means if there is any magnet nearby the pointer, then pointer will get attracted towards the magnet, and obviously the reading will be wrong. So in such cases you will be having the environmental errors. So these environmental errors can be minimized by using the air conditioning or using magnetic shields. That means if you use air condition, instead in spite of the outside environmental external condition, there will be certain temperature maintained throughout, and so that there will be error reduced because of the temperature. And using magnetic shields means, if you use magnetic shields, then there will not be any magnetic effect. Even though there is even though there is a magnet nearby, then the instrument will not be affected. So you can use the magnetic shields or air conditioners to reduce these environmental errors. And next, third one, observational errors. So observational errors means the errors which are mainly due to the parallax error. Parallax error, you might be knowing what is parallax error. Parallax error means it occurs when you are not straight away on the pointer. If there is a pointer here, you should look straight away from the by seeing upward exactly the point to the reading, so that the parallax error will be reduced. So because of the parallax error, if you are away from that instrument, and if you are not taking down the readings, then there will be parallax error. So to reduce this parallax error, you should be using a mirror scales. You might have observed in ammeters there will be when there is a pointer here, under that pointer there will be a mirror placed. The pointer should coincide with the mirror and the reading. So then there will not be parallax error. If you stand straight to the pointer, then this can be avoided. This can be minimized. Next one, random errors. So as I told you, random errors means the errors which are not covered under the previous errors. There is no specific reason for them. So those errors are called random errors. These random errors can be minimized by using random analysis or taking number of readings. These errors can be reduced by increasing the number of observations. If you want to take a 4.1 ampere, then you can take 10 readings, 10 observations, and you can take mean. You might have heard of all these statistical analysis: mean, median, mode, or deviation, standard deviation. All these comes under the static analysis. These static analyses are used to reduce the errors, reduce the random errors. Okay, these are about the errors. So what are the different types of errors? There are three types of errors. What are they? First one is gross errors, and next one is systematic errors, and the third one is random errors. Gross errors are nothing but which are because of the human mistake. The errors because of human mistake are called gross errors, and the second one is systematic errors. In the systematic errors, there are instrumental errors, environmental errors, observational errors. Instrumental errors means there is a fault with the instrument itself, then the errors occur. Those errors are called instrumental errors. And the environmental errors means the errors which are occurring because of the external environment. So these are called environmental errors. And third one is observational errors. These are errors occurs because of taking readings by the observer. And next one, the random errors. Random errors are, they do not have any particular reason to occur. These random errors can be minimized by taking number of readings. So this is about the errors. Next one, essential requirements of the electrical instruments. So what there will be for an instrument, definitely there should be some particular requirements, essential requirements. For every meter there should be these there are three requirements, essential requirements are there. These requirements should be there for any instrument. Whatever instrument you can consider, in that instrument there should be these three essential requirements. So those are, first one, deflecting system producing deflecting torque, and second one, controlling system producing controlling torque, and the third one, damping system producing damping torque. Now we shall discuss one by one now. First one, deflecting system producing deflecting torque. So what is the meaning of deflection first? Deflection means, as soon as you take, I am taking an ammeter as an example here in all these things. So whenever you take an ammeter, there will be a, if you think of the ammeter, there will be a pointer which will be moving in that instrument. So in that, the pointer, whenever the instrument is placed in the circuit, is connected in the circuit, then what happens? Because of the current, the pointer starts deflecting. How this pointer gets deflected? So this deflecting can be because of the either magnetic effect, electromagnetic induction effect, heating effect, or electrostatic effect. You might have heard of all these effects, like whenever a conductor cuts the magnetic field, then EMF will be induced. Because of that EMF induced, the pointer will be starts deflecting. The pointer starts deflecting. So this is likewise, because of any of these effects, there will be deflecting torque. Deflecting force will be there. Because of the deflecting force, instead of remaining pointer still, it starts deflecting. Whenever you provide current to the circuit, whenever it is switched on the supply, then current starts flowing and the pointer gets deflected. This deflection happens because of the deflecting force. Because of the deflecting force, deflecting torque occurs. Because of the deflecting torque, the pointer starts moving. Okay. So this deflecting, because of the deflecting torque, the pointer starts moving. But it has to stop at particular current, right? If you provide 2 amperes current, then the pointer should stop at 2 amperes. It should not go away from the 5 amperes or 6 amperes. It should correctly stop at the 2 amperes. How can you stop it now? So you need to provide some other force in the opposite direction to stop this deflection. So in order to stop this deflection, you need to control that torque. So this is second one is controlling torque. Controlling torque, here you can say that the control means it limits the movement of the moving system. It limits the movement of the moving system. So that means instead of going till 5 amperes, it will stop at the 2 amperes. It ensures that the magnitude of deflection is always the same for the given value of input quantity under measurements. If you have to measure 2 amperes, then the pointer should stop at 2 amperes. To stop at 2 amperes, there should be controlling torque which limits the movement of the moving systems. So this controlling torque should be equal to the how much this torque should be, how much this controlling force should be. So this controlling torque acts in the opposite direction of that of the deflecting torque. It should act. So if the deflecting torque is in this direction, the controlling torque should be in this direction, which will be exactly same magnitude. These two torques should be having same magnitude and but opposite in direction. So at steady state, deflecting torque is equal to controlling torque. This is very important. Deflecting at steady state, the deflecting torque is equal to controlling torque. What happens if the deflecting torque is 0 now? What happens if the deflecting torque is 0? So that means in this direction there is no force, but in this direction only there is force. then what happens? The pointer goes to 0. The pointer goes to 0. So that's why at steady state these two torques should be equal, so that it will show the exact reading. This controlling torque can be produced by either any of these two methods. One is spring control torque or gravity control torque. This we can discuss in the next class. Now, as of now, this deflecting torque is produced because of two torques, either spring control or gravity control. Next one, third one, damping torque. Damping. What is damping? Damping means to reduce the oscillation. To damp out the oscillations means to take away the oscillations. So, if the pointer is in the middle and in this way there is deflecting torque, and in the opposite direction there is controlling torque. Because of the two torques opposite acting on the pointer might oscillate. The pointer might oscillate in both the directions. So whenever it is oscillating, you might be in confusion. What is the exact reading now? So to know the reading, you need to stop out the oscillations of the pointer. To stop out the oscillations of the pointer, there should be a damping torque. So what does this damping torque does? This damping torque will damp out the oscillations. So that's what due to deflecting torque, the pointer moves in one direction, while due to controlling torque, the pointer moves in opposite direction. So at steady state, what is it? The deflecting torque is equal to controlling torque. So due to these opposite torques, the pointer may oscillate in the forward and backward direction. If the damping torque is not present, the pointer will be oscillating. To damp out that oscillations, you need the damping torque. So this damping torque brings the moving system to rest quickly in its final position. It has to damp out the oscillations as soon as the pointer starts oscillating. So for this, to damp out these oscillations, there are different methods. So first one is air friction damping, and the second one is fluid friction damping. This also will be we shall study in the coming class. So this is very important. I am saying, what are the three different torques? First one is essential requirements. What are the essential requirements of an instrument? So first one is deflecting system producing deflecting torque. So deflecting system means the pointer should start moving. So this deflecting system producing deflecting torque, there should be a force or torque which makes the pointer to move. It's called deflecting system. In this deflecting system, there will be either because of the magnetic field or electrostatic induction effect or some other heating effect or thermal effect. So because of that effects, there will be deflecting torque. Because of the deflecting torque, the pointer should start moving. And the second one is controlling system. Controlling system means when the pointer starts moving, you should stop the pointer at a particular correct reading, So for that you need to provide a torque which is opposite to the deflecting torque. If the deflecting torque is in this direction, then the controlling torque should be act in the opposite direction of the deflecting torque, but with the same magnitude. And under this controlling torque, there are three different methods which we will be discussing in the next class. And next one is damping system. Damping system means because of the deflecting torque and the controlling torque, the pointer will be oscillating. To damp out these oscillations, you need to provide a damping system. So for that, the pointer will be in a steady position. So for this also, air friction damping and fluid friction damping are there. These are the two types. This also will be studying in the next class. So in the today's class, we have discussed about what is an error, what are the different types of errors, and what are the essential requirements of electrical instruments. Thank you.